Hi, I'm Renee Devereaux with the Club for Creative Expression. And as the voice of creative expression, I want to bring to you always people who can tell us how to stay healthy, strong, and vital all days of our lives. I believe that creative expression is within each of us. And if we are not healthy, it's unexpressed, and we go to the grave with a song in our hearts. So today I have the pleasure and privilege of introducing to you a good friend. I've known him for many years, and I am proud to bring to you David Kekich, a published author and recognized authority on longevity science. And so my first question for you, Dave, is what got you interested in this particular field?
Well, thank you for all that, Renee, and thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
I don't know if there was any one thing that got me interested in the field.
Mm-hmm.
I've been interested in health and longevity since I was in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
And I was doing an active, what I thought was a healthy lifestyle then. I thought I was eating a healthy diet, and of course it wasn't, looking back. But as I learned, like all of us, as we learn more and more, we realized that we weren't born knowing everything. We thought we were.
When we're young, we think that way, yes.
But we realized, of course, that we weren't. And life is an ongoing learning process, or at least it should be. And that's part of good brain health, is continuing to learn.
Exactly.
And keeping your mind active and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more than just brain, it's full body. It's a holistic type of approach that you should take to life if you want to be completely healthy. Body, mind, and spirit,
of course.
Everything else.
And so, but I know that something triggered a special interest in the health of the brain.
Oh, well, the health of the brain, that is a different story.
Is it?
In fact, I had a phone call a couple of hours ago with a gentleman who was looking for some gene therapy for muscular dystrophy, and he was interested, because I can get into that later if you'd like.
Yes,
but
please.
He was originally from Newport Beach, which is where I live, and he's living in the state of Washington now, and he was born and raised here. And he said that his father passed away from Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. He said, well, we've actually lost him a couple of years before he died, which is what happens with Alzheimer's.
Unfortunately.
And that's near and dear to my heart, because excuse me, but my dad died the same way.
Mm-hmm. I am truly sorry, yes. And I understand, because a lot of people are going through this with our parents.
Yeah,
no?
Yeah, and it's something we certainly don't want to see happen to somebody we love, and we certainly don't want to see it happen to ourselves.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. But it is definitely painful when we see our parents, just not be who we remember them. How they were to us or for us.
Exactly.
And that is, well, it's a lot of suffering in that.
Yeah.
And so I know that at some point you've developed the Maximum Life Foundation. So was that as an outcome of your own personal story?
I developed the Maximum Life Foundation in 1999.
Correct.
My dad was diagnosed a couple of few years before that.
Before that.
And that's not the reason I developed I founded the Maximum Life Foundation, because I just had a long-term interest in aging. I spent a lot of years, I had a spinal cord injury, and I spent a lot of years raising money for spinal cord injury research. But there came a point in time, because I was always interested in health and longevity. And there came a point in time when I realized that if and when I would ever be cured from my injury, I wouldn't be jumping hedges and doing all the things I was doing when I was in my 30s when I got hurt. I realized that it would be a long, hard road to recovery, and I would never be back where I was before, unless and until we did something about aging. And I also realized that we had a couple of 100,000 people in this country who were suffering from spinal cord injuries.
Really?
But we're all suffering from aging.
Well, yes.
We've got 200 million adults who are aging rapidly, a lot more rapidly than we like to think, and a lot more rapidly than we realize until we hit a certain age, and then it becomes very, very acute. So I also realized that some of the research that it would take to cure a spinal cord injury was the same research, because I've been studying aging for many years. It could be some of the same, including stem cell research, some of the same research that would be important in reversing or curing aging. I say curing aging because I consider aging to be a disease. Because we all die from it, unless something else kills us first.
Exactly, exactly. No, it's a fascinating statement that the longevity, or aging is related as an illness. You know, it is the same thing.
Yeah.
It is an illness, and consequently, correcting or repairing a spinal cord injury can also extend longevity. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, it's pretty much some of the technologies, some of the medical technologies and research of spinal cord injury studies and life extension studies parallel one another.
Okay.
So if we've had a breakthrough in one, it could translate to a breakthrough in the other.
Okay. Yeah, that's where my mind wants to go.
Yeah.
It's the anti-aging aspect, and consequently, I think anything that will lead to living a quality of life, that's what interests me. I'm not so much interested in the longevity aspect, but the quality of life is of prime importance. I need to be able to function and think and be who I've known myself to be always.
Well, the quality of life, you're right, is paramount. But let me ask you this question. If you were guaranteed a high quality of life in a youthful body, would then longevity be more important to you?
Of course.
Because that's our goal.
Of course, that is the goal. And that would certainly be a gift, and I think we would all like that. I think that maybe a lot of us don't even dare hope that will happen in our lifetime, but nevertheless, the interest in quality of life is number one for me. And yes, extended period of time on this earth with all that it offers, of course it'd be a privilege to enjoy it a lot longer than we do, in good health.
In good health.
That's the
key.
That's
Nobody
the key.
wants to be in a nursing home withering away for 20 or 30 years, or endlessly.
Endlessly.
But never give up hope.
Precisely. And so, at the Maximum Life Foundation, what do you do there? What are your goals?
The goals are to support research.
Okay.
And basically to raise money for the research. And we've been doing that aggressively for a number of years, and found out that it's a lot easier to raise money for a for-profit venture, regardless of what it's in, especially in life extension, than it is to raise money for donations, especially when virtually nobody heard of the Maximum Life Foundation. Everybody heard of the American Red Cross, American Cancer Society, American Heart Association, and hospitals and universities where they donate money. I mean, these are big institutional names. We don't have that big institutional name, so it's a lot tougher. So I've taken the approach to raise money through the roundabout way, to raise money directly for an investment type program into longevity research.
I see. And so through the foundation, do you also develop products?
Indirectly, we have a separate company that develops products which supports the foundation.
Oh, okay. Are these what's called nootropics to help brain health?
Yeah.
Oh, please tell us about those, because I'm aware of them, and I believe that, I don't know, at some point that was my main interest in meeting you. I think they've been around for a while, haven't they?
They have been,
Yeah.
in various shapes and forms and names,
Right.
and formulas.
Correct. And so I've carried them and provided them for my clients as well. But please tell us about the research in the development of these
Well, I
products.
wasn't happy with what I was seeing in the nutritional supplement business, especially in the nootropic area. And we found that there were certain areas that we could find if we discovered the genetic basis for deterioration. And then we would be able to, and if we could find a way to formulate something to influence those genes in the right direction, the expression of those genes, then we would really be onto something. So we invested a lot of money into an artificial intelligence algorithm. So what we had was really developed partially by humans, but primarily by machines.
Really?
Yeah, by artificial intelligence.
Wow.
And we were not quite convinced, so we took them through human clinical studies and found out that they indeed did work better than anything that I'd ever found on the market. But we can't do it for everything. We were able to do it for inflammation, we were able to do it for the brain, and we're able to do it for longevity in one respect too.
Right, because I know you have, well, not very many, but I know that
we just don't.
Yeah.
We never will.
Okay,
We only have what we can develop that we know works best.
Well, the two that I have taken and that I'm familiar with are the Cognigene and the
Inflagene.
Right, but there's another one. Oh, stem cell.
Yeah, TLOSC.
TLOSC.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And
okay.
Cognigene is our cognition gene. That's the one that was developed by, or the one of them that was developed by the AI.
Right.
Inflagene was developed by AI.
Also.
TLOSC is developed to enhance the telomerase expression, which is, if you know what telomerase is, it's an enzyme that affects the health of and length of telomeres. And
Correct.
Telomeres are the ends of your chromosomes. They're the protective caps, like you can't see my shoes, but I have a nib on my little plastic tip on the end of my shoestring. And when that becomes frayed, then the shoestring falls apart. Well, the same thing happens with your chromosomes. Every time your genes, or every time your cells divide, your telomeres, these protective caps, start to shorten just a little bit. And eventually they just unwind and your cell dies. So the primary aim with our TLOSC products is to keep those telomeres healthy and not shortened.
Oh, fascinating. And also the Inflagene, could you talk a little bit about that? Because I know that a lot of, just everybody really suffers from inflammation, and they don't recognize that there is a correlation between inflammation, aging, and everything else that's negative.
Virtually every single disease on the planet is, including aging, is related to inflammation. Some people call it the silent killer, because we can be highly inflamed. We almost all are, especially after the age of 50. And depending on your lifestyle and your habits and the supplements you take and the exercise you get and your diet and your weight, body weight and things like that, I mean, some people are more inflamed than others. People that are heavier, more obese people are much more inflamed. People that are older are much more inflamed than the people that are younger. On average, given everything else, making everything else equal.
And would inflammation have a bearing on your brain health?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a direct link to Alzheimer's.
Okay, that's why they're calling it diabetes number 3.
Yeah,
because it is.
I forgot about that. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Diabetes type 3.
Type 3.
Yeah.
It is due to inflammation and all the goodies, all the sugars. So I have your book, and you had also sent it to me as an ebook, and it is fascinating. So I do want to let people know that Smart, Strong, and Sexy at 100 is available on Amazon, but it's also, you have very generously offered to have it or give it to anyone who calls me as an ebook.
Yes.
All right, so thank you for that. So anyone interested, it's a fascinating book, and there's many recommendations that you make there. Would you like to
Sure, I'd be happy to.
explore some of
Thank you.
them?
The first section in the book talks about what we started talking about, the research that is going to eventually reverse the human aging process. And I'm a little bit more optimistic about it happening in our lifetime than you are, but I've got good reason to be. Because
Okay.
I'm so close to the research and I see what's happening, and we're finally starting to make inroads in raising money, and with billionaires now investing in this field.
Really?
Yeah. And so the first section talks about the how and why we're going to reverse aging, depending on your age, depending on your health and condition, and so forth, in your lifetime possibly.
Okay.
And
I'll go with that.
And we're all fighting for that. And the second section of the book talks about what we can do now to extend our lives, our healthy lives, to open the window of opportunity to be around and healthy when we finally are able to take advantage of these technologies that are being developed right now, today. And some of the things we can talk about on the show.
Please do.
Well, one of them is there's a new, relatively new supplement that has been developed called NAD+.
Yes, I'm very familiar with it.
You are, okay.
Actually, I take it.
I do too. And it's best taken with resveratrol.
Correct.
What they found out recently was that if you're over, it's an arbitrary line, but if you're over the age of 50, then you've already diminished your supply of NAD+ to the point where you should really have an infusion therapy, an IV, which is one of the best life extenders that we have on the planet right now today. And it consists of 3 sessions every other day, of 3.5 to 4 hours, 4.5 hours maybe, of a slow drip, very comfortable. You sit in an easy chair. And they have centers all around the place that can give those. It seems like it's pretty expensive, depending on a person's budget. They were going for about $3,000 or more for the 3, but I found a place in Newport Beach that has one in Corona del Mar, 2 in Newport Beach, and I'm not sure if they have any down this way or not, but they're close enough, where they're $1,900 for 3.
For the 3?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's fascinating. And so, can you talk a little bit about the NAD and what it does, how it affects your body?
It's easier to say what it doesn't do.
Okay.
Yeah, it does almost everything. It improves your sleep, and it's an anti-aging technology. It's an anti-aging supplement in the respect that it basically rejuvenates when you replenish it. It rejuvenates your body systemically on a systemic basis.
Okay. I am taking it, but as a supplement, as a capsule.
And what you want to continue taking it after the infusions to maintain it.
Okay. That's fascinating. I didn't know that a drip was available, so
I just found that out recently.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
That's really probably the most direct way. I mean,
it is.
As opposed to going through the digestion.
Exactly.
Right. So this is directly into your bloodstream. Okay. So anything else that you can tell us about what's being explored in the longevity field?
There's a technology called parabiosis, and it was those are connecting the circulatory systems of 2 mammals, 2 mice, 2 rats, and they found out that when they connect the circulatory system of an old mouse with the young mouse, the old mouse gets rejuvenated. Now, obviously, it wouldn't. It's not practical.
Right.
But they're identifying the growth factors and the blood factors in the young humans, human blood, human bone marrow, that would be able to rejuvenate people, and that's a technology that's being developed right now. There are some companies that are taking transfusions from blood from young adults and and giving transfusions to old adults. There's a little bit of a question as to how effective that is. It's effective, it's working, but it's very expensive.
Right. I've heard of someone quite famous one of the
Peter Thiel.
oh yes,
Peter
him.
Thiel is doing it.
He's doing
Yeah,
it,
and
right?
it's very, very well publicized, and it's working for him. He's not all that old, but he's aggressive, and he's one of the supporters, by the way, one of the financial supporters of aging research.
Wonderful. All
So
right.
he's a hero of mine.
Absolutely.
But they're now identifying the specific factors
Okay.
in that blood, and they're being able to isolate those and synthesize them. And pretty soon these will be available in the form of either pharmaceutical drugs or nutritional supplements.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, that's very big.
Huge.
A lot of good stuff
definitely.
going on.
Oh well.
I would recommend, we hear about all this, everything that's being put into a human trial, everything that's being done right now that we're aware of as a community, not just individuals. We explore and we promote and we talk about it on stage at the
Right.
Radfest.
Yes, I'm aware of the heavy hitters that you have.
Yeah.
You had Aubrey de Grey.
Aubrey de Grey's there every year. We're
Kurzweil.
having Ray Kurzweil,
yeah.
Michael West. We have we had a leading researcher in the gene therapy from Harvard. We've got a lot of really incredible speakers there, but we're identifying all the like I said, all the technologies that you can incorporate into your life right now today, and even sometimes you can qualify to be a subject of a human trial. You're certainly made aware of, in the respect to be first in line, you might say, for these technologies and when they do hit the market. But you can be an early adopter. And it's a really nice, it's in San Diego.
When is that? It's coming up, isn't it?
September 23rd week in September.
Okay, the Radfest.
It's a 3-day, it was 4 days last year, it's 3 days this year.
Okay.
And RAD is RAAD. It stands for Revolution Against Aging and Death.
Yes.
And it's the radfest.com.
Okay.
And it's one word, of course. And I recommend everybody that can make it to the Radfest.
Oh, it's fascinating, absolutely. And there's, like I say, some really heavy hitters in the industry that will be there presenting. So I intend to attend.
Yeah.
And now, let's go back to your book. Can you give us more information as to what you offer in the book?
Sure. I have 7 chapters on steps that you can take right now, like I say, to basically improve your health. Keep you going longer and healthier, helping you avoid diseases.
Okay.
And the first one, the most important one, is diet. And I talk about all the things that you can do with your diet. Fish oil, for example. We talked about the brain, fish oil. Fish, period. There are so many things in there that are good for the brain. There's a diet in there called the mind diet, which I cover in, I think it's in chapter 6, but it's in chapter 6, I have a protocol or a series of exercises that you can do for brain health.
Okay.
Because now physical exercise improves your body, but also your mind, because billions of signals are sent to your brain when you work out, positive reinforcing signals, which improves your cognition. You can also exercise your brain and should exercise your brain.
Correct.
What you're doing right now is exercising your brain. You're asking pointed questions and well thought out questions. So whether it's about longevity or anything, we're doing crossword puzzles, just stimulating conversations with people. The worst thing you can do for your brain is passively sit back and watch soap operas on TV. I mean, things like that. So you really, and you live in a community now where there's so much going on. I understand anyway. This is my first opportunity to visit here, but there's so much going on, so many activities. I really encourage everybody to take advantage of those activities.
Yes, that's the reason for the many clubs, and the reason for the Club for Creative Expression, because I want to provide people the platform from which they can express, their heart desire.
Yeah.
Whether it comes in performance, whether it's singing, writing poetry or whatever. But we all have a unique gift that I believe is a contribution to perhaps humanity.
Exactly, and some of the things in the chapter on nutrition and on diet, just a diet chapter, contribute to the healthy brain in the respect that you can help avoid Alzheimer's through the diet that they call MIND.
Okay.
And in fact, for the people that follow it very, very religiously, it can reduce the incidence of Alzheimer's by 52%.
Oh my word.
And it can also reverse some of the aspects of Alzheimer's or at least dementia, that people never thought possible. And even moderately following a diet like that can reduce it by 35%. So you don't need to be a fanatic about any of this.
Exactly.
You should be.
You should be. I know I can be. Oh, okay.
But we have a gene therapy also, by the way, that we're planning on going into human trials. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about.
Oh, Dave, I wish we had more time.
I know.
We're running out.
Well, we may be able to reverse Alzheimer's.
And that
earlier mid-stage Alzheimer's.
And that, I know that it is vital, and especially for our audience, because, well, we're all over 50, over 55, and consequently we're all concerned. We see some of our peers suffering, developing dementia, developing Alzheimer's, and it can put the fear into the rest of us, because we want to stay vital, we want to stay conscious. So once again, Dave, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for taking the time.
We're finished already?
I'm sorry to say.
I can't believe how fast time flies.
And so the book again, Smart, Strong, and Sexy at 100, available through Amazon, and the ebook available through me. If you'll call me, I'll be happy to share it with you, because he has offered to do that. And if you have questions or comments, please, again, Renee Devereaux, the Club for Creative Expression, and my phone number will be shown too. So again, thank you for watching. Bye.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you.